For over a month now, WandaVision has been keeping Marvel fans both entertained and confused with its amazing storytelling and mysteries, and we are now just under a week away from the series finale. So what better time than now to go through some of the top theories, and now some of my own theories as to what will happen in the series finale. Now, I did do a video similar to this a couple of weeks ago, I think, where I went through three theories as to who the cameo could be, but now we have new evidence and some just new theories, so yeah, let's get into the first one. I think we still need to talk about the cameos of WandaVision, starting with the one that seems perhaps most obvious, and that would be Doctor Strange. Now, the reason I think Doctor Strange is the most likely is because it is obviously, we know that Wanda is in Doctor Strange 2, and we know that this series will lead straight into that film. So, dealing with the multiverse and things like that is obviously Doctor Strange's forte, so to see him in this series, you know, it wouldn't be that much of a stretch. But then again, I think it's quite obvious, and if Elizabeth Olsen was comparing it to the Luke Skywalker cameo in Mandalorian, which no one saw coming, is this going to match up to that? No. So do I think it's Doctor Strange? Possibly. So the next theory is built off the fact that we know that if you're in the Hex for too long, it could affect your DNA on a molecular level, as we see happening to Monica as she begins to turn into the hero Photon. Now, if we know that being in there for too long can affect your DNA and give you powers, there are so many people in that Hex that could be having powers. So, could this be the MCU's way of introducing the X-Men? I think that could be plausible, and if so, the cameo could very well be either one of the X-Men or Charles Xavier himself, who has come to find the mutants or the people that have been mutated by the Hex to form a team, the X-Men. So I'm just editing the video that you're currently watching, and I realised that I didn't mention my theory, or the theory going around the internet surrounding Magneto. So, in the X-Men universe, Peter Maximoff's dad is Magneto, I think. I haven't honestly seen those films in a while, but as far as I'm aware, that is what the reveal was in one of those films. So, a lot of people are saying that Magneto is going to show up at the end of WandaVision as the cameo. And not Ian McKellen's Magneto, but the younger Magneto. I don't know who played him. But yeah, I thought I'd just throw that theory in here, along with the Charles Xavier one, that Magneto could also show up at the end of WandaVision. So this next theory will contain spoilers for the most recent episode, so episode 8 of WandaVision. So if you haven't seen that, either skip this part or just click off. Preferably don't click off, but if you want to, do it. So, in the post-credits scene of episode 8, we see that Hayward and his team have created a silver vision. Now, could it be that if this vision has a voice, it could be James Spader as Ultron? Now, this might not necessarily be the cameo, as we know that Paul Bettany has said the cameo is someone he's wanted to work with for ages, and obviously he worked with James Spader a lot on Age of Ultron. So this may not be the cameo, but it still could happen as just a surprise in the series. Now, sticking to the Ultron theme, and going back to one of the theories I said in an earlier video about Hayward being Ultron, could this be evidence towards that, and show that Hayward has created this silver vision as a vessel for Ultron? Because the whole point of Age of Ultron was Ultron wanted Vision's body as a vessel, as it was made of vibranium, so it was pretty much indestructible. So could that be the reason for creating Silver Vision, is that Ultron needed a new vessel? It's not as possible as just James Spader's voice showing up, but it definitely could happen. Now, this next theory was quite popular early on in the series, but it sort of died out, but I'm going to revisit it and add some new evidence to it. And that is the whole thing around Mephisto. Now, for any of you that don't know who Mephisto is, he's basically the Marvel Comics version of the devil. So in the second episode, Agnes introduces us and Wanda to her pet rabbit, Señor Scratchy, the star of the show. Now, on the surface level, this could seem like she's just introducing us to the star of the magic show, her pet rabbit. But what if this was her introducing us to the star of WandaVision, Mephisto? Now, stay with me here, because I know this may seem a bit out there, but Mr. Scratch is actually another name for the devil himself. And what is the rabbit's name? Señor Scratchy. So either it's a reference and just a bit of a coincidence, or the rabbit is the devil. Now, I'm not saying the rabbit actually is the devil, that's his final form. I'm saying, what if that's the devil in disguise? And the cameo at the end of WandaVision, in maybe a post-credit scene, would be that rabbit transforming into its true form in the shape of Mephisto. Now, the problem with showing Mephisto in a series is that there are some weird rules around showing the devil on media, or rules, maybe regulations, that obviously the devil is a religious figure, the leader of the underworld and things like that, so you don't want to be disrespectful. So a way they could get around this is by just showing a man in like a red suit. So not like Horn's massive genie thing, but just a man in a red suit with a like that shows it's the devil fitting in with the human race. However, the most popular choice for who the cameo is going to be is Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic. Now, I did speak about this in my last video, but in case you didn't watch that, I will just speak about it briefly here. So, Monica contacted an aerospace engineer, and Reed Richards is an aerospace engineer, so it wouldn't be too out there for it to be Reed Richards. And equally, I think maybe he will turn up, but not as Mr. Fantastic, and just as Reed Richards. He will then go into the Hex, and maybe that's how he gets his powers, because obviously in Fantastic Four, that's not how they get their powers, but maybe in the MCU, it will be different. So, yeah, I don't want to talk too deep about that theory, because I did talk about it in a video I'll link up there, but yeah, I definitely wanted to mention it. Now, the final theory isn't actually about who the cameo is, but it is centred around Agatha. So it was revealed in episode 7 that Agnes was indeed a witch named Agatha Harkness. It was Agatha all along, who's been pulling every evil string. It's been Agatha all along, who's been pulling every evil string. It's been Agatha all along, It was Agatha all along, boom. And then in the last episode, she went with Wanda through a lot of key parts of Wanda's life, such as her nearly being blown up by a Stark bomb, meeting Vision, getting her powers, all of the things that make Wanda, Wanda. And at the start of the episode, we see Agatha, same person, being led to the Salem witch trials, where she is pretty much killed by other witches for using dark magic. So what I think is actually happening here is Agatha has seen and sensed the dark magic coming from Westview, gone to see what's going on, and seen Wanda doing the same sort of things that Agatha had done to get her nearly killed. And she doesn't want the same thing happening to Wanda, so she's trying to help in her own weird, messed up way. Now, there's a chance that's complete mumbo-jumbo and she is the actual villain. But, you know, we've got to theorise about these things, because that's where the content comes from. So, there we go. Those are my final predictions and theories around WandaVision for the series finale. Now, this video obviously going up on Wednesday, if you're watching it on the Wednesday. But on Friday this week, I will be putting up a special video. So, my upload schedule is obviously Wednesdays and Sundays, but I'm putting up a video on Friday, because the finale goes up on a Friday. And in that video, me and my good friend James, we've done 2 podcasts together now. I'll link those both up there. We'll be talking about WandaVision after we've watched the series finale. So we'll be talking about the series finale, what our thoughts on it, the whole series as a whole, and also talking about how excited we are on the level for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, talk about going on with the MCU, and about our ranking, and James is going to be ranking the episodes on his channel, so we'll be talking about that as well. So yeah, look forward to that. And with all that being said, I want to thank you all so much for watching the video. Like it if you enjoyed it, dislike it if you didn't enjoy it. Comment down below any theories you've got, or sort of what you think will happen in WandaVision series finale. Subscribe if you're new or you haven't done so already, and I will see you in the next video. Toodle pip.